So, hello, I would like to say welcome to the webinar on research groups of mental health for children and adolescents. My name is Raphaela Kaisler. I'm the program manager of mental health for the research groups at LBG, the Boltzmann Society in Austria. I'm located in Vienna, and it's a pleasure for me today to have this webinar. First of all, I would like to explain to you some technical details. In today's session, I would like to invite you to be interactive. You are in a listen and view only mode, so you won't need your microphone and your video today, but you need your speakers. So please feel free to adjust the volume of your speakers so that you can hear me clearly. There's a hand raising tool at the bottom of your screen. So if you can hear me, please click on this hand raising tool now. Thanks, I got already perfect. So you can hear me, most of you. Just give it a second. Perfect, you're raising your hands. Thanks a lot. So it seems to work. So if you would like to interact today in our session, there's a Q&A button in the toolbar on the bottom of your screen. If you click to the Q&A button, then there's a box where you can write your questions. And my colleague Bortonse will answer your questions during the presentation, and we will have also time after my presentation to answer the questions. So please type in your questions anytime, your comments. We try to answer them in the presentation. The presentation itself will last about 30 minutes. Afterwards, we have this Q&A session. There's also a chat function in this toolbox here, where we can, as hosts and panelists, can provide you information links, which you might need. Yeah, this webinar will be also recorded, so you can listen to it afterwards, and we post it on our website at LBGCET. So then I would say let's start. So, just in the beginning, a short outline and overview of what we will discuss today. In the beginning, I would like to tell you a bit about the novel approach to form research group as an open innovation initiative. Afterwards, I reflect a bit on the structure of the research groups, what do we expect, how they are constituted. Then about the Ideas Lab, which is an interactive application process where the call is now open to apply. So who can apply and what is expected, what we do in the Ideas Lab. And at the end, I will also say some words to the timeline, to the call deadlines, the upcoming steps. And in the end, as I said, like a Q&A session. Please type in your questions. So in the beginning, now I will reflect a bit on the novel approach to form these research groups. As I said, this was an open innovation initiative from the Boltzmann Society in Austria. It started in 2015, where we involved the crowd, like the community, in the crowdsourcing project called Tell Us, and asked them what questions about mental health does research need to answer. We got lots of responses and contributions from the community, and now we're picking up these research questions the community defined and making research out of it. So this will be the main goal of the Ideas Lab in May 2017. And in the end, as an outcome, we hope that we have disciplinary research groups, which will be funded for 4 years and starting their work then in 2018. Now I will tell you a bit more about this initiative. Where did it came from? How do these research groups evolve? So as I told you, it's a crowdsourcing initiative. We asked the community, especially patients, as you see, like 40% patients, 26% healthcare professionals, and 17 family members responded to research questions, as well as other experts in the field of mental health, like psychologists, psychotherapists, psychiatrists, and others. So we received more than 400 high-quality contributions from the community. These contributions were then analyzed and clustered and ranked by a jury of experts. And then again, we invited the crowd again to rate which of these challenges should be tackled first. And the community said we should focus on mental health of children and adolescents as a first step. So we decided to form this research group around this topic. As I said, the community defined the research challenges. We are picking it up now in the Ideas Lab. So here you see like an overview of the clustered contributions, which kind of research challenges are there at the moment. So in the Ideas Lab and for the research groups, we will focus on destigmatization of patients and children and their parents, as well as invention of new child-specific interventions. There's another big cluster of environmental invention strategies, factors. Also, how does media consumption influence our behavior? What kind of support structures do we have? And what can be improved? As well as also on the more fundamental science level, like are there new biomarkers who could be detected, and also digital health tools and applications, apps, for example. And the last one, like too fast, health monitoring of children and the parents and early detection of disease. These are the challenges we will focus on in the research groups, and we narrowed it down to the overarching topic, children of mentally ill parents. Now I will tell you a bit more about the structure of the research groups. So what do we expect and what are the goals of the research groups? This is an open innovation process, so also the formation of the research group will be in an open innovation way. So it's an active search and it's an active matchmaking process. This is the Ideas Lab, I will tell you later. This research group should also focus on societally relevant thematic areas, so in our case is children of mentally ill parents. These research groups should also develop new structures of scientific research and innovation. You will get support of the LBG, Ludwig Boltzmann Society Open Innovation Center, who developed this methodology. And this all should then create research in a new way. We're really focusing on interdisciplinarity and translational research. So in the end, patients should have a benefit out of this research we're conducting. So this is the keyword. We really want to build a strong relationship and ties with the community. This is very important, but I will tell you that a bit later. Yeah, this is the model, how we think this could work, how we could drive open innovation, how we have like innovation potential. The research group, they are supported, as I said, by the Open Innovation Center for the methodology, and also from the program manager, so that's me, so to connect the research group within, but also connect them with the community and with the scientific community. So we are really in close connection with patient organizations, professional associations, user communities, leaders, etc. And on the other side, we really want to have an international research program where we have connections with national and international disciplines. One crucial part is as well that we are not only focusing on the core field of what you think lie in mental health, so like psychology, psychiatry, but we're also focusing on linked and distant disciplines, that I will show later. And this interaction of these different groups should then open up this innovation potential. Now a bit more technical about these research groups. These groups are formed by principal and co-investigators arising from the Ideas Lab. So now you're invited to apply as a principal or co-investigator for the Ideas Lab. We're expecting 2 or 3 interdisciplinary research groups as an outcome of the Ideas Lab. There will be funding for 4 years, 1.5 million per year for all research groups. And these research groups will be hosted by Austrian universities. This doesn't necessarily mean that you'll be located at the same university in each group. It really depends what kind of infrastructure you need and contacts. So this could be distributed over Austria. Now to the Ideas Lab. As I said, it's an interactive application process. Many of you may know the Ideas Lab as Sandpit, as it's used in the UK. It's a free thinking and interactive workshop. This Ideas Lab addresses key research challenges, in our case of children of mentally parents. I think one crucial thing will be to identify a common language between the disciplines, because you will facing experts from other disciplines, which may be linked or distant to your own. It's a multidisciplinary perspective you have to bring to problems, so you have to think out of the box. This will then increase the innovation potential. You will be facilitated by mentors during the Ideas Lab. They're key. They will support you in informing your ideas. They will bring in new questions to catalyze your ideas, and they will also connect you between the researchers and maybe distant disciplines and give input where it's necessary. They have also a second role, not only as facilitator, also as a reviewer. In the end, they will give final recommendations who should be funded after the Ideas Lab. Yeah, so they have two roles in the Ideas Lab. Now I will reflect a bit more on the disciplines, who can apply. So if you have the questions, do I fit into this Ideas Lab, then you might find you in these circles. We defined three thematic topics. We have a core field, a linked and a distant field. In the core field, of course, there's what you expect when you hear from mental health, so psychology, psychiatrists, neuroscience, sociology. But we want to expand it a bit more to the linked disciplines. So we want to bring in more expertise, more diversity into the research process. So we are seeking and searching also for people who are in sociology, immunology, genetics, and molecular biology, for example. Or if we go even more a bit further, then we would also like to bring in people from art, from dance, theater, educational science, e-health, art, philosophy, and others. So what is the benefit to bring in this, to bring in the linked and distant disciplines? So we hope to break down the silos, so we really reach or tackle issues and think out of the box. So and this diversity, the research process will then create this high innovation potential. So we have in the Ideas Lab, we bring in 20 to 30 researchers, which is with a unique mix of expertise. For example, I could imagine like a person doing photography and art could contribute to the stigmatization of children and ill parents, or somebody from the law background could also contribute to child protection issues. And if you look at the theater and dance, I think this would be also a benefit to a new intervention method, for example. So who can apply? So more technical details again. We're searching for experienced researchers with up to 8 years postdoc experience, or if you don't have a PhD, then an equivalent qualification. What do we mean with that? Minimum of 4 years research experience previously. This effective time lapse, you have been awarded with your PhD, and the call deadline can be reduced. 8 years can be reduced if you're above 8 years, if you have been on maternity or paternity leave, long-term illness, clinical training, or national service. Then you please check if you fit in this 8 years postdoc experience. You also don't need an affiliation to a university yet. You can indicate an affiliation if you're in contact with a potential host institution and you think there would be great infrastructure, people you need to conduct your research, then please indicate in the application. But for the application itself, you don't need any affiliation to a university. You can apply as a principal investigator. This means you will be employed at the Boltzmann Society in Austria. And you might have more time commitment, or will be maybe also 100% employed. It depends on your time commitments. You can also be a co-investigator. This would mean that you remain at your current host institution. There is an option also that you can be employed as a co-investigator at LBG. And with the co-investigators, we expect that you contribute mind or time to the project. In the application form, you will be asked, like we tried to keep it really straightforward and simple. You will be asked like 6 questions, I think, and it really focuses on how do you work in a team, so teamwork assessment, what is your expertise, and what can you contribute to the ideas lab, what kind of ideas, the challenges do you have. And we do not need any CVs, so we really focus on the work in the ideas lab, the ideas you bring in and share with others. So what is expected if you apply as a principal investigator or co-investigator at the Ideas Lab? You develop new and highly original research ideas in respect to the research challenges. You're working closely with colleagues from other fields, other disciplines, so you need to have you need to find an interface between the disciplines. It's crucial to be part of the team because you will develop your research ideas together in a team. And you, of course, need to explain research to non-experts or other experts in other disciplines. The Ideas Lab itself will be 5 days, so it's a really intense time period from developing the research idea to come up with a research proposal, a research project. What happens after the Ideas Lab? So from the research idea to research groups. Now you can apply as a PI or co-I for the Ideas Lab, and you will create your research ideas during the Ideas Lab and form research teams. So the outcome of the Ideas Lab is to have like PIs and co-Is joining one research team. After these 5 days, the mentors will give the recommendations which teams will be funded. And then we will invite you to write up a research proposal, so you extend your research ideas into a real research project. You will have about, I will show you the timeline later, but for just to expand on this research proposal, so to really form research projects. And once these proposals are done, you can start working as a research group. There's enough funding to employ other people you need for your project. So the research group will then consist of the principal investigators, co-investigators, and team you employ. And there should be, as I said, like a strong interaction with the community, on the scientific community on the one end, on the other, the society, the patient organization, family members. So really interactive disciplinary research approach. Yeah, to the timeline. So what are the next steps? So now you're in the call phase. Submission deadline for the Ideas Lab is on the 8th of March. So there are now still 5 weeks to go. So if you think you fit in the Ideas Lab, then you're welcome to apply online. We have a platform set up for applications, so please only we will evaluate only online applications. The selection of participants who can participate in the Ideas Lab will be on 14th of April. You will be notified via email. This selection will be also done by the mentors. They will recommend who will participate in the Ideas Lab. Then we have this interactive Ideas Lab workshop on 24th to 28th of May in Vienna, or it's close to Vienna. You will stay there together 5 days. After the Ideas Lab finishes, in the end of the Ideas Lab, so then beginning of June, I would assume there will be this selection of the research teams, so who will be funded, which principal investigators and co-investigators will be funded for 4 years, and then they will be invited to write up the research proposal, and the submission of the proposal is then on 10th July. And after 10th July, you're ready to start working. the research group's kickoff will be then in autumn 2017 or beginning of 2018. So that was just a brief introduction to the research group on my side. I hear my photon typing, so there are many questions. So now we have time for Q&As. So please type in your questions in the Q&A box. I will open it. So there's one question. How do you really know the actual mentors? So which are open right now? Let me see. First affiliated at my host university, I can't take the role as a PI. Is that correct? Well, if you have an affiliation already at a university, you can apply as a co-investigator and spend, I don't know, depends on your time commitment, minor time on the project, or you could also reduce, you don't have to spend like 100% as a PI on the project, so you can do 50% or 70 or whatsoever, whatever works with you best. Then you can also apply as a PI. But the PI, the principal investigators, they should take the lead, so they're leading the group. So this is a responsibility as well. You have to consider that. Then there's another question, where can we indicate maternity leave periods in order to fit into the 8 years? In the online questionnaire at the platform, you can write it. I think there's space to write it somewhere in the, I have to look up which question it is, but please indicate it in your online applications. I think there's even space when you indicate the date of your PhD. You can just write it there. But I can come back to that as well and check which question is the best one. Is there a two-stage application process? First, you should be selected based on the form. Second, you should be selected based on your participation. No, it's not a two-stage process. It's a one-stage. We are now selecting participants for the Ideas Lab. And then after the Ideas Lab, the mentors give the recommendations who should be funded, and these people already received the funding. So the selected people at the Ideas Lab, they will be the PIs and co-Is. And they write up then the proposal. So it's a one stage. It's not another selection after the Ideas Lab. Is 2 years post PhD okay? Yes, that's fine. Then you are in the 8-year period. How the research team will be created during the Ideas Lab? Yeah, at the Ideas Lab, there will be 25 to 30 researchers from various disciplines. One big part of the Ideas Lab is to find this common language, to communicate, to exchange ideas, to share ideas with the others. And you will be grouped in teams, and this group will change several times to get to know everybody and try to, like, if you can develop with this other team, with these other people and other ideas. And then these teams will be formed by itself, depending on your discussion and if you're on the same track or if it fits to your idea. I hope this answers the question. Are there any details known already about how the proposal should be structured? No, we don't have details yet on the proposal structure, but it's not like a research proposal you submit for the EU. It's a really short, straightforward thing. You just write up your ideas. So the ideas you develop during the Ideas Lab and write it up to form like a research project, but it's not like an extended 100-page thing. It's like maybe 20 pages or less. Didn't like assess the criteria yet for that, but you will be informed anyway, and you will get information about how this proposal should be structured and should look like in the Ideas Lab. Will the mentors and selected individuals' name be released before the Ideas Lab begin? Well, this is a good question. The mentors, because they have to review a role as well, so we don't tell you yet the names who will be there, but I can tell you that there are 7 mentors, and they are from various fields, so from psychology, psychiatry, health, business. So it's a good, unique mix of mentors. So they should cover all disciplines as well. And after the ideas lab, once the researchers are selected for the ideas lab, we will also provide information on the mentors. How are the research teams from the ideas lab session? I think we answered that already. The co-I can potentially be suited anywhere. Yeah, that's right. So the co-investigators can be located or remain at the host institution, or if they don't have any institution, so they can be anywhere. They can also be at LBT if they like to be. But potentially they can be also internationally some. How many principal investigators will be announced? This depends on your interaction in the ideas lab. We are quite open to that. It really depends on the ideas and the teams they will be formed in the ideas lab. Can you apply as a PhD candidate during the last stage of the PhD? Well, if you have 4 years research experience, then you're eligible to apply, even if you don't have a PhD. I've not been able to finish my PhD some years ago. So again, if you have 4 years research experience, then you're eligible to apply, even if you don't have a PhD. So there's another question. Once being selected to participate in the ideas lab, means you will get the funding? No. Once you have been selected for the ideas lab, you can apply, take part in the ideas lab. In the ideas lab, the research teams will be formed, and there will be then the selection of the mentors who will be funded. So these are 2 separate things. Why is the upper limit on experience of 8 years? Yeah, that's also a good question. We wanted to encourage young scientists to apply, young researchers, support young researchers on the one hand. Yeah, I think that's the answer. Is it correct that applicants are not required supposed to submit a CV and publication list? Yes. Should applicants incorporate the individual experience? Yes, that's true. We don't need a CV or a publication list. We really want to focus on your ability to work in a team. So the online questionnaire really focuses on the teamwork and on your experience. So you have, I think, limited characters and space in the online questionnaire. So just keep it short and simple and explain there your expertise and experience in the field of children with mental illness. Could be applied for both. No, you have to choose. You can apply either as a principal investigator or as a co-investigator. This depends on your time commitment and if you want to remain on your host institution or at a university in Austria. Do we know what kinds of mental illness the research group should focus on? Is there any kind of mental illness not physically handicapped? This is quite open. It's a bottom-up approach. So you should tackle the research challenges which the community defined, but how you do that and what kind of interactions you need and contacts is really up to you. So this is a bottom-up approach. Once the research groups have been established, if co-I are not based in Edinburgh, would that travel get paid for meetings hosted in? Yeah, of course. You will get funding, and this would also include then direct costs, indirect costs like overheads as personal costs. Yeah. Is there already a population of researchers available, or is the idea that the ideas lab will come up? RGC. As I said, like, it's a bit tricky. It's a bottom-up approach. I mean, we are discussing with patient organizations and clinics and their cohorts, patient cohorts. If we can have access to them, of course, we're discussing that, but it's not defined yet, or it's not fixed yet. So it's a bit open. But of course, we will have access to hospitals, clinics. This is, yeah. In the application form, question 2.2, area of interest refers to my area of interest in the scope of the call topic. It refers, yeah, I think it's the area of interest in general. It's not specific to the call. I think there's another question in the online questionnaire where you can say, like, on which challenge you would like to focus or you would like to tackle. So it's a general interest. Why do we not support travel costs for the Ideas Lab, I suppose, is the question. Reimbursement, like the accommodation, this will be set up by the LBT, but we cannot support like all participants with travel costs. But there might be an option to get a bit like a fund for overseas candidates. But please write us an email and we discuss this on an individual basis. What is the ratio of building research groups in the lab? If I understand this correctly, then it means that we have 2 or 3 research groups as an outcome of the Ideas Lab. So from these 30 participants, there will be then 2 to 3 groups. So that it really depends on your ideas and how these groups are formed. But there might be 3 or 4 people per group as a PI or co-I, and then employ later on other stuff. When you describe the importance of the community connections, do you anticipate studies carried out into the national community setting? Yeah, it's really important that you connect with the community, that you actively work with them together. I hope this answers your question. Let me check again. And of course, I mean, it's a really bottom-up approach. So we will be close in contact with patient organizations, and there are already lots of initiatives in Austria from organizations as well. So I think you can also connect with them and see and use their cohorts. During the Ideas Lab, we will be assessed to a team of 5 people. And one of the teams will be selected. Yeah, that's also a bit tricky. During the Ideas Lab, of course, you will present yourself and your ideas and your expertise, and then these research groups, the teams will be formed. This could be 4 or 5 people, depending on the topic, of course. And in the end, the teams will be funded. Yeah, I think that answered the question. Yeah, so yeah, teams will be funded. In question 3.1 of the application form, is it possible to include different current positions? 50%. I specify. I'm not sure if I understand it correctly. Is it possible to include 2 different current positions? Okay, if you're like half time there and half time there, I think this is what you mean. Yeah, I would just mention it. I think there's enough space to write it there. Both of them, yeah. Why not? The cost of travel to the Ideas Lab, if selected on ours, yeah, you have to take care of your travel costs. Get to the venture, yeah. And we cover all other costs. So we cover accommodation costs during these 5 years, as well as all diaries, etc. So you just need to make sure that you pay your travel costs. This is on your side. Exactly. So is there another? Are the costs of the travel to the DSW selection? Answered that already. There's one more. You mainly refer to patient groups, etc., concerning research. What about schools, kindergarten? Yeah, exactly. This is not only patient organizations and groups. You can connect with schools, kindergartens, and all other organizations for your research. So that's really up to you, but it's bottom up. And how far would you say the research international and so the impact? We are trying to establish international research groups. We also have at the moment applications from international researchers. It's also important to present there in the international as well as in the international community. So yes, we want to have international research groups. What is if I can participate in the Ideas Lab? On the last day, okay. It's crucial to be there the whole time. So from day 1 to day 5, and because this is a process, building up, like forming the ideas into a project. So if you miss one day, this really wouldn't be good. So you really need to be there the whole time, 100% for the 5 days. Is the salary for co-PIs, if selected, balanced according to the time commitment? Yeah, it is. There is from the Austrian Science Fund, there is a personal cost scheme. We are orientated on that. And of course, it's then according to the time commitment. Yeah. So, why should I apply as a PI if I have a current permanent position in my institution? Could you try to convince me? I will try. This was also our thought why we limited 8 years postdoc experience, because established researchers, independent researchers, they already might have a permanent position. So this wouldn't be like a good option for these. So we're really focusing on the young scientists. So I'm sorry that I can't convince you for that, but this is a reason why we limit it to 8 years postdoc experience. You can take this opportunity to work in Austria and have 4 years funding. But of course, it's up to you. Do you have to specify in advance how many of your time you can spend as a PI or co-I working on a project basis for situations like this change next year? Yeah, we included like did you specify your time commitment? I mean, this must not be fixed. So if this is changing then a bit during the next half a year or so, then it's no problem for us. But it would be good that we need to know like how many PIs or how many people spend like major time commitment and there's a co-I minor time commitment, so to get a good mix of the groups. The PI have physically be located in Vienna, not in Vienna specifically, but somewhere in Austria, a university in Austria. Yes, and we expect that the PIs will move to Austria if they're not already there, and be then physically in Austria at some university. Yeah. So, are there more questions? I hope I could answer some of them. Well, feel free to write in more questions. Yeah, there's one more. How will groups in Ideas Lab be together? Yeah. We will have facilitators who are managing the whole process in the Ideas Lab, and the mentors, of course, will give you input and raise questions and bring you on the right track on the research challenges. But this is an interactive process, so I can't tell you now, or the outcome of the ideas lab or how this will be formed, because this depends on the ideas, this depends on the people coming from various disciplines who will be there. Yeah. And then you will see like you can work together and which ideas you can take up from others. So it's, yeah. Oh yeah, that's more. Do I understand it correctly that the co-PI can stay at the home country? Yeah, the co-I can remain at the home institution in the home country, exactly. Then about 3 teams will be selected, about 12 people will be all PIs. No, the selected teams in the ideas lab, they will be a mix from PIs and co-Is. Yeah. Will the selected participants be raised before the ideas lab begins? Released, sorry. Released like officially in public. I mean that on the 14th of April we will select, or we will inform you, notify you via email who has been selected for the ideas lab. I'm not sure if we do like an official statement, but there is. Yes, okay, so like public. No, I don't think so. You will be informed if you're selected or not, but I don't think we will publish that. I'm still confused about the teams will be created from individual ideas subjects. I try again. In the ideas lab, you bring in your ideas. So it might be new or might be a bit unusual is that you share your ideas with others, with other experts from other disciplines. And then you pick up also ideas from other people and work on that and develop then projects out of it. So it's like a process where you do something together. So of course you have to share your thoughts, but you gain also a lot from the other thoughts and ideas as well. And in the end, it won't be like one idea of one person forming like the research project. It's then like many ideas, and together develop these ideas forming the research projects. Is it about discussion once it magic? I don't understand that. Maybe you can give more input on this question. Is it about discussion? Maybe like a try and answer. The research group, of course, or we hope that you won't focus all on the same research challenge. So, but I think just from the mix of people and disciplines and expertise, they will be focusing on different kind of challenges. So it's not one thematic theme. It's maybe you pick 1 or 2 or 3 challenges. It depends on your ideas, what you can cover, what not. But that's up to the team, of course. I understand why you need time to select people for the lab, but booking international flights, yeah. Relatively late would mean international travel costs will be more expensive, yeah. Is this type of concern that we can? Yeah, I do understand that international flights and they're getting more expensive. But we will inform you on the 14th of April. And if you need some help with the travel costs, just please write me an email and we can discuss on an individual basis. Thanks for answering, but how can I know that others are interested in that thematic during the application process? If I understand this correctly, you bring, like in the application phase now until 8th of March, you will bring in your idea on an individual basis, of course. You apply as a person and have kind of an idea or something in mind. In the ideas lab, then you will introduce your idea to the others, and then you will work from there. So when you apply, you can't know if somebody else is interested in your topic or in your idea, of course not. But at the Ideas Lab, you can convince them, or you can just work on an idea or on ideas, and you will be influenced anyway from other results and other ideas, other colleagues. So of course you can't know before. Yeah. Do we decide who the team up before we but it mentors or a community beforehand? Decide who the if I get this correctly. No, the teams, it's not determined before, so there will be 25 to 30 participants, researchers, scientists in the Ideas Lab. The teams are not predefined, and then during the process, during the work, during you sharing your ideas, teams will be automatically formed. And then the mentors, of course, give recommendations which kind of teams and their projects should be then funded because they're relevant. So basically, regarding the structure of the project, each research group, each research group comprises of 1 PI and 4 to 5 co-Is. No, that's not defined yet. It really depends on with whom you're in a team. So this can be PIs only, this can be co-Is only, this could be a mix, it could be 1 PI and many co-Is, or many PIs and 1 co-I. It's really open. It really depends on what kind of team you will be constituted in the end of the Ideas Lab. So, are there more questions? Please feel free to type it in the Q&A. We have another 10 more minutes if you have questions. So, if not, I will be still there for 10 more minutes. If not, thanks a lot for your active contributions here. I hope I could answer. There are more questions. Thank you a lot for the webinar. Thanks. Great to hear that it helped you. Yeah, from my side, thanks a lot for being there, joining the session, and being actively involved in the webinar. If there are any more further questions or concerns, please write me an email, and I will answer. There's okay. Thanks a lot. Have a good day. Bye. There's one more. Yeah, one more question here. Can we access the questions and answers after the webinar? Yes, this webinar is recorded. Is already recorded, and we will post the link on our website, on the Ideas Lab website. So you will find the link there and can listen it afterwards. There's another one. Is it correct that you can share your idea at the Ideas Lab and not already in the application form? Yeah, I mean, you can indicate it in the online application that what kind of research you will tackle and what kind of idea you have, like a broad idea. But of course, like to develop the idea, this will be then done in the Ideas Lab. So there's another question regarding your ideas proposal in the Ideas Lab. How specific should they be? Should this be already a developed research proposal? So if you're being invited to the Ideas Lab, you don't have to prepare a proposal or anything. You just come with your ideas. And then afterwards, when you have been selected to be funded, then you work on the research proposal together in your team, like with the PIs and co-Is. So it's more, as you say, like here, brainstorm ideas exactly and develop ideas or problems in this area. Exactly. I'm worrying a bit sharing my ideas. Yeah, I can understand this. Good. It sounds paranoid. This is something you have to get used to it in this open innovation process. It's about sharing ideas and developing ideas, taking ideas from others. I know this might be frightening a bit, but this is like how this open innovation potentially can be then unfolded. There is no idea protection agreement or something. I'm not sure. I've never thought about that actually, because it's like this open cooperative atmosphere. It should be like a competition in the generating the ideas. But I can think about that. Thanks for this comment. So if a senior researcher takes part in Ideas Lab and becomes a PI, he or she can look for others, more experienced researchers included in the team. Yes, if you be funded as a PI, co-I, as a research team, then you will form a research group. So this means you can employ other people, participants, students, postdocs, PhDs, healthcare professionals, whatever you need, conduct your research. Yeah. As ideas should be encouraged to be based in community, can it include some context related subject? So let me read that again. If I get this right, then it reflects again on this can be involved like international community, and yes, you can. So we will encourage you that you build ties to national and international communities, scientific or society and society. Yeah, so you can be definitely outside Europe and Austria. In the application form, there's no room for writing down your idea. I noticed. Okay, good to know. At least the question for the ideas is not specified. Yeah, I think you can write it like there's a question about your expertise. So I think you can say there like I would like to do this. Just a minute, if you have a question. But to this last question, just again, you don't need to write your ideas already in the proposal, in the application. You will work on that in the Ideas Lab. But of course, you can give like an outlook or a glimpse of what you see, what you contribute. This question is in there in the online. What can you contribute? Groups. So I think there it would be good. So, are there any more questions? Yeah. Regarding expertise, would it be a problem to have limited experience as post-researcher, less than a year? No, it's no problem at all. No. No, you can still apply to maximum 8 years of postdoc experience. No limitation of age. Yes, there's no age limit. That's correct. This is a brilliant idea, I think. Okay, great. Thanks for the comment. Yeah. Yeah, just one word to this, to your last comments, really encouraging. This is an open innovation initiative. This is a bottom-up process, so we really keep it open. We really want to create like really novel novel research projects, novel solutions to really tackle these challenges. Be creative, I can say. So we will have 5 more minutes for questions if you have. If not, then thanks again for your patience. Thanks again for listening and joining the webinar. If you have any questions, drop me an email. Oh, no questions anymore? Good. So thanks again. So then I will officially close now the webinar. So thanks for listening, and if you have any questions, just write me an email. Thanks a lot. I hope I see lots of you, a lot of applications, and see you then at the ideas lab as well. Thanks. Bye.